Oh. Hey there, everybody. It's the Bipolar Lesbian here, and today I want to talk about something a little touchy for some people, and that is suicide and suicidal ideation. Also tell you about the worst experience I've ever had in a psych ward. I admitted myself about a week ago because I was having suicidal thoughts and suicidal ideations, and I want to discuss what was going on that was so much issues to me and much trouble to my family. So yeah, so buckle in, this is going to be an interesting one. So first thing I want to cover for you guys is, bear with me, I'm still getting this a little straight. I want to show you guys the suicide hotlines. This is for many countries, covering at least 12 of them, I believe I read. Over here, sorry, is going to be the U.S. text crisis line. I'm not sure about other countries. I've tried to find some. I am not having much luck. However, if you are in crisis, text one of these people, call one of these people, because they will help. They will not judge you, and everything is going to be okay. So, the worst experience I've ever had in a psych ward. I was admitted to a place called Copper Springs. I don't know if you've heard of them. They are in many states. However, I don't know how they differ state to state, but the one I'm was currently in, has really changed their broad view of things. And not to discredit anybody who has a substance abuse. However, it is kind of difficult to be somebody with a mental illness stuck in a place with people who are withdrawing, talking about their next fix as soon as they get out, sharing drugs with each other. In my psych ward, at least, they would grind up the Subutex. If anybody's familiar with that, it's a opiate receptor blocker so people can withdraw faster from heroin, blah, blah, blah. However, people were sharing it, although crushed up. They were spitting into napkins and bringing it to another patient, and that patient would lick it off the napkin. I don't know why they aren't worried about spreading things like hepatitis or things like that. No idea, but the thought of spit sharing without a kiss, pretty nasty to me. So I went in on Wednesday of last week for wanting to kill myself. I had a plan, I was ready, and I committed that plan. I overdosed on medicine. I took about 30 Xanax, Aprazolam for the generic, and I was hoping not to wake up. However, I did, which in hindsight is a good thing, but that was the day I decided that I needed a lot more help than I was admitting to, and decided to let my family know what I had done and tell them I need help immediately, or else something worse is going to happen. Next time it wouldn't be something as simple as swallowing pills. So they were very, very glad that I shared that with them. They, of course, were upset that I even had tried, but they never turned away from me. They never casted any doubt on my status. I even was capable of sharing my sexual assault that happened when I was 11 with my parents. I finally came open with them. So my mother knows, my father knows. The only person that doesn't know is my little brother. Little, he's 20. Shouldn't say little. He's a goddamn linebacker by now. But at the same time, I don't like him knowing because I know he'd just want to hurt the person. So, you know, I feel tremendous guilt about that, because that person not only hurt me, but then he hurt a family's, not my family, he's not related to me. He hurt one of their family. They shipped him off to California to get the hell rid of him, and he ended up hurting a baby, a 8-month-old child. And he was doing awful things to this child, this poor baby. When the family found out, all they did was want to cover it up. They didn't want him in trouble, so all they did was ship him back off to Arizona. He has a wife now. He beats the shit out of her, hurts their child. So I feel tremendous guilt about what happened. So that was only the little layer of the cake that led to, the suicide. Biggest reason for the suicide is I felt completely isolated and alone, very scared. I just wanted to sleep, go to sleep forever. My medication wasn't working. I was just done. I've been fighting this for almost 10 years now, and it hadn't gotten any better. However, this last visit to the psych ward, although I was surrounded by meth heads and heroin addicts and all this kind of shit, who were completely crazy, by the way, really just looking for their next fix, which was, disappointing to me with a mental illness, because I don't want to be around that. I was there to get help, and the only person that did a good speech to us was this man. I'm not going to disclose names, but he was a very, very nice man, and he did a wonderful therapy session with us all. Group therapy is the best. However, he brought a lot of religious elements into it, and I am not religious. I do not like religion. I don't know if you guys heard about over the weekend, last weekend obviously, the Pope Kisses Cure Cancer. They had this patient with a child with brain cancer who was getting medical treatment, who had been kissed by the Pope in the past. And he continued getting treatment, chemo, experimental treatments for brain cancer, that kind of thing, and the tumor has actually shrunk. I'm not sure if it's completely disappeared, but it has shrunk to a point where this kid no longer is worried about cancer. And instead of thanking the doctors, they thanked the Pope. Now, if his kisses cure cancer, he better be out there kissing every goddamn little baby that he could find. I lost a cousin. He was diagnosed with leukemia when he was 2. He fell off his couch, broke his arm. Couch, maybe not even a foot off the ground. He fell off, broke his arm. Our pediatrician was very worried, told them they need to get tested. He was tested, leukemia was found. He was undergoing chemo, radiation therapy, just so much for this young little body to do. And guess what? He made it to 6 and then passed away. He passed away in his mother's arms at home where he was most comfortable. And he did pass away on my father's birthday. And I can remember my father walking into my old house. My mom met him in the hallway and he just collapsed on her. It was the first time I've ever seen my father cry, and it was very distressing, to say the least, to see. So now every birthday for him, I try to create a happy atmosphere. But back to the psych ward. I am a person that usually gets along with everybody. I'm happy-go-lucky, even when I'm, depressed. Robin Williams said it best: the saddest people always try to make people happy because they don't want anyone feeling like they do inside. That was a paraphrase of the quote. I don't believe the exact quote. But I'm like that. I don't want people to suffer. I want them to be happy. I sacrifice my own happiness over them feeling like shit. And so I just want to, be a people pleaser. And sometimes that's to my detriment. Like in the psych ward, there's There was this man who was very unstable. He was, even the nurses said to me, he's more of a bully than anything. He likes to intimidate people, blah, blah, blah. Well, since I was hurt at 11 years old, I don't take things easily when someone's trying to intimidate me. I don't like them trying to push me around. I want them to leave me alone and not be a dick about it. Well, I got into 2 fights at the psych ward. I'm not a fighting type at all. I mean, I'm tiny. I'm 5'3". I'm a tiny person. I mean, I might not look like it weight-wise, but besides that, I'm not very intimidating. Especially against this man who's 300 pounds and over 6 feet tall. Well, the first fight happened over a cigarette. He asked me if he could borrow one, and I told him that I'm running low. I have to check my pack to see if I could give him any, and he was like, I thought you fucking said I could come to you if I ever needed anything. Well, I wasn't having that. And I said, dude, look, you need to chill out. I need to check. And he freaked out on me about dude. He's like, I'm not a fucking dude. Who the fuck you talking about? And I'm like, are you a man? You know, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, then you're a dude. I'm like, I call everyone dude. I'm a dude. You're a dude. Everyone's a dude. He got very mad at me, and he started screaming racial epithets at me. You know, I'm a stupid little white bitch who needs her ass kicked, which came out of nowhere. Nurses had to restrain him and take him into his room and lock us on the other side of the facility. There should be no reason that a man that unstable should not be untreated or not restrained. He didn't get any punishment. In fact, when we were cast over to the other side of the unit so he wouldn't hurt us, he was able to go out and get a smoke break. The nurses even bought him smoke so he wouldn't complain. I don't like compliance into somebody who's just throwing a fit because they're a little asshole. I even joked with one of the nurses, do I have to sit there and go, I mean, do I have to throw a fit and act like a goddamn fool to get what I need? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's sad. The second fight happened over me standing next to a friend, and her cigarettes were missing. She had just had them dropped off, and she had 2 left in the pack. She had not smoked that much, obviously. We only had, like, 6 smoke breaks a day at most. So she was wondering, why the, cigarettes were gone, and the house supervisor of Copper Springs in Avondale, Arizona, was acting like such a bitch to her. She's like, you guys, you need to stop aggressing on me because I haven't time to investigate, and you guys are, picking on me, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, we're the mental patients, and you're throwing a fit like a little goddamn brat. One night, I had the night supervisor come to me because I really wanted to speak to her about the fight. She comes over talking on her cell phone. She's talking to a friend. She comes over to me. What can I do for you? And I was like, look, drop the fucking smile and the laugh right now, because I'm not smiling. I'm pissed off. And basically she gave me a runaround, and I actually pissed her off because I was like, what is this? Is this a mental hospital or is this a detox? And she's like, well, it's kind of both. I'm like, what's your clientele mostly made up of? And she's like, well, pretty much 98% or more in detoxing. I'm like, so this is a detox center? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, you just said it. It's not a mental health hospital. You don't care about us any longer. You prefer helping out the addicts. And she just got very pissed off at me, and she left. I told her, I said, you better stay on this ward all goddamn night. I said, because that man freaks me the hell out. He's intimidating. He's scary. He paces around. He follows you. He likes to glare at you. It's very uncomfortable, you know what I mean? And like I said, I'm a little girl. I didn't want him to... He tried to throw a chair at nurses. He was calling them bitches and cunts and things like that. It was absolutely ridiculous. So the second day we got into a fight, it was over, like I said, I was standing next to the friend during the house supervisor in the morning. They were trying to figure out what happened to her cigarettes, and she was saying, "You guys are attacking me, blah, blah, blah." Oh, yeah. Very attacking. I'm very, very threatening, as you can tell. I'm just a load of threatening ball of rage. And so, after she moved, I commented, I didn't even comment. All I did was go, you know, exasperated by her actions. Well, that crazy motherfucker was standing up on the counter. And he looks at one of the nurses and he goes, "Did you just sigh at me?" And so I didn't want the nurse to get yelled at or start getting harassed. So I looked at the man and I said, "No," I said, "that was me. I wasn't even talking to you." And I went, and he goes, "Well, fuck you, you stupid fucking little white bitch. Hope you fucking die. I'm gonna fucking come after you. I'm gonna stick my fucking dick in your ass. I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna have my wife on the outside come take you a visit. She's got guns." I'm shaky in my boots. I'm really ready for his wife to show up. So common. And he definitely know where I lived. But instead of him getting in trouble once again as the aggressor, and I was the defensive, I got back up and I started yelling at him, "Don't you fucking talk to me like that. I don't take that shit. I was tired of being the victim. I was a victim before. I don't want to be it again." So I was screaming at him. We were screaming at each other. Nurses were pulling us apart. I wasn't ready to attack the guy. I'm not going to fight. I can't fight people. But the nurses separated us. They took us into a room and, locked the door and all that kind of stuff. But all that happened was they collected my things from my room and moved me to a different unit, which is absolutely unacceptable in my opinion. If someone is being I was the second person who had to be moved because of that man. And I said that is so unfair, because if you're going to act like a fucking psychopath, then obviously you need to be restrained chemically more, or you need to get your ass in jail. Because if you're going to fight everybody, fight nurses, fight staff, try to throw chairs, throw a fit until you get your Ativan, that's all he was doing. He was throwing a fit so he could get a fix. I mean, ridiculous. And they took away anybody else's anxiety meds, because we didn't obviously need them. I don't need them. I was only there because I wanted to kill myself. Why would I need an anxiety med? But, yeah, so it's an absolute shit show at that clinic. It's despicable. It's annoying. It's one of the worst experiences I've ever had. And I've been to many psych wards since I was about 16. And I don't know how else to say it except I was extremely distressed. I was extremely frustrated. And they moved me to another ward. And once again, I'm the only one there for mental illness. Everybody else is there for detox. So I was just like, I need to go home. I'm sick of this. I don't want to be around this. I don't need this. And so, yeah. So I made sure that the doctor and my psychiatrist wrote me an order as soon as possible for me to get home. He's a treat in himself. Oh my god, he looks like a steroid user. But I let the house supervisor know. I hope you know I'm going to make a mental note to let every single person I know, every single person, which is why I like YouTube as a platform. Everyone needs to know Copper Springs facilities do not care about you and your mental illness. They do not care. All they will do is stabilize your meds. Group therapy is a joke. They have AA meetings, CM meetings, Crystal Meth Anonymous, CA meetings, Coke Anonymous, all that kind of shit. I didn't need any of that. You know what I mean? And then their idea of therapy at certain times, I know it works for some people, but it didn't work for me. Art therapy, music therapy. What the fuck is that going to do for me? I don't need that shit. it doesn't help at all. And if you try to make a complaint, I did make a formal complaint, you're ignored. They don't care. And so it was horrendous. And then I had this other girl on the other ward, and this man, he was a fucking man-child, I should say. Just horribly strung out and shitty. And she was sweet to me at first, but as soon as I told her she's not allowed to have another cigarette of mine, God, she lost it. Lost that shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, very sad place. You really don't want to go there. The only mental hospital that I don't think I've found anything helpful. Everything is, you're surrounded by people who are aggressive. They want to fight. They're detoxing. They're throwing a fit. You know, this one girl faked a seizure just so she'd get a shot of Ativan. I only know she faked the seizure because I used to be a CNA, and I know that's not RN by any means. RN, whatever. I'm trying to make my hands at least visible. However, everybody should know about the sternum rub. And to see if people are faking comas or unconsciousness or seizures, they give you a nice, you press hard down with your knuckles and you rub that sternum. Well, when I did that to her outside when she had the seizure, she came to immediately to just go, stop. And then she immediately went back to, I mean, are you kidding me? And I was the only person out there. The nurses were out there with us because they have to watch us during a smoke break so nobody kills each other. I tried to explain to them, if she's really having a seizure, one, you need to pull her in the shade. It's about 110 out. At that day, it was about 110 degrees out. And that's Fahrenheit for anybody who might be watching from another country. Fucking hot, to say the least. I'm like, pull her in the shade. If she starts puking, turn her on her side so she doesn't aspirate. You know, keep her limbs. You know, don't hold her down. Let her do her thing. Don't go near the mouth. She might bite you, that kind of thing. I can't believe I was the patient explaining to the nurses what to do. I mean, they were on the radios going, can someone come help us? You know, we don't know what to do. Can someone come? I'm like, just fucking follow my directions. I'm like, Jesus. So they finally did. I helped pull her in the shade, and the one nurse had her head in her lap, and I was just make sure she doesn't start puking and aspirating. You don't need that because that's really going to be a code blue. They came out. They wheeled her in. She was fine by then. Shock. She had no dizziness or like after seizure, like you've seen seizures before. She had none of that. So it was a joke. It was just people acting on their worst behavior to get what they wanted. And it's a travesty because I was there to get help. I was lucky to get my medication stabilized. And then I was ready to get the fuck out. I'm very proud of myself at the moment. I have schooling that I've signed up for that I need to just pick up some transcripts for to finish. And then I also have a potential job opportunity tomorrow. I meet with a manager at a store. He told me come down around 9 o'clock or earlier. And so I'm going to be heading down about 8 o'clock in the morning. And I should be getting a job. So, I mean, one day out of the psych ward. I got schooling already set up. I got a job already set up. I think I'm pretty golden. So, yeah. So, Copper Springs is one you want to avoid like the plague. They don't care. They treat you like shit. The nurses at least try, but the head administrators, they don't care. And it's frustrating. So, yeah. So, if I would give you any advice, look up where you're going first. Look at the review. Some people are going to be pissed off because they are involuntarily committed. I was voluntarily committed. I drove myself like had somebody drive me down there, but they knew I was going in. But I was in there without a court order. I've never been arrested. I've never done drugs. I've never done, you know, all that kind of bullshit that everyone else had. So, yeah, beware of where you go to get treatment. I would sooner set up an appointment with a psychiatrist if you can get in, a therapist, a counselor, see what programs you have on your insurance, and really go from there, because otherwise it's going to be just trouble. It's going to be annoying, you're going to be upset, and nothing's going to work out right. And it's a shame, because when I first went there 3 years ago, it was wonderful. I had great support, great mental health coverage, but now it is turned into a rehab detox clinic, and that's not what I am about. So yeah, so that's a little antidote on my crazy ass psych ward stories. I felt like Jack Nicholson in One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, because I was the only goddamn sane one in there. Nah, I had some good people that I made friends with, so that was good. So I would say just watch yourself. Just be careful what you're doing. Be careful of where you go, and always make sure that, you know, you're going somewhere that's going to actually help you and not treat you like shit. So, thank you very much for listening to my rambles. Once again, I'm the Bipolar Lesbian, here to bring you all the latest and crazy. If you have any video requests or want me to discuss anything, please let me know. I would love to cover something, even give you a shout out in the video. I know I'm a small channel, but you know, any little bit helps. But if you want to talk, message me and I'll answer the questions that you have. I am fully accepting of taking requests to speak of. I know I haven't made a video in months, but here's my video now, and I hope this has done some good. Thank you again, and I am signing off. You guys have a wonderful day. Stay cool out there, because it is goddamn